What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Questionable Podcast, the podcast that asks questionable questions with questionable people. I'm your host, Nathan Costello, and today I have with me Phoenix and Austin. You guys want to say hello?
Yeah, hello. What's going on, guys?
This is a new thing. I kind of brainwaved. I know these guys through gaming, so that's kind of what brought us all together. And yeah, it's fun. I'd say it's fun. We've had our ups and downs with it, I suppose.
Experiences throughout the life, you know.
Yeah. I'm probably going to say one of the reasons I called it the Questionable Podcast is I can only assume with the type of people we are that questionable questions will most definitely be asked and answered, especially during the current climate with the world and politics. And that's right, we're going into the taboo area of politics and opinions and stuff.
The unpopular opinions.
Yeah, unpopular, popular, whatever opinions. And I think one of the best parts is we've got three people here from three different countries. So I'm obviously from the UK. I'll let these guys, tell about where they're from and stuff. If you can't guess, then
Hey. Well, if they're not careful, they'd make the mistake. I'm actually from Canada, not from the US. That's why I'm far more polite and have a much better attitude towards people.
That leaves me to be the American.
Yeah.
Like it was left out. Like, I had no other choice. I guess if I must, I just gotta accept this one.
I'll accept it with all the burdens it carries.
Are you sure you've got big enough shoulders?
I can try.
All the shoulders.
So yeah, we've got a list of things we can discuss about. Like, how hard do you guys want to go into this? Do you want to start off soft?
Well, let's open up with a nice friendly one. We have to make sure they always know they're all questionable questions. We have a list of questionable questions. We have to see how many times we can say it.
That'd be a good drinking game, actually.
Yeah, how many times you say questionable questions? Every time you say it, shot.
Boom. Okay, so I think a good one. I think for all of us to start on, what was our first online gaming experience? Because we're all coming from a gaming background. That's how we all met, obviously. So I think that'd be a good topic to start on, and we can probably just roll off the bat there. I'll let Austin go first, I think.
Okay, I mean, technically, it was Call of Duty when I was 12, if you really want to count that.
I don't.
But I knew all those dudes in real life, so technically it was Star Wars: The Old Republic, which is where I met you two bastards from.
Oh,
wow. Shit, you're that fresh?
Wow.
Yeah.
Even I didn't know that. Oh, wow, that's a surprise.
I mean, 5 years ago, though, you two weren't the first, but it was 5 years ago when I joined that game.
Wow, is it 5 years? That's cool. Yeah, you're quite young then you're quite a baby to online gaming, really.
I mean, I'm only 20, so.
I mean, I'm 21, and
listen here, children. Just bring it all in. 25, and I think I gotta pass on the experience here.
Daddy Ulysses.
We're not gonna go that far.
So yeah, Phoenix. What was yours? I'm quite intrigued. I know we were discussing it earlier on in the week, obviously brainstorming ideas and stuff. And I know. Well, I kind of know what yours is, but I'm quite intrigued to know more about it.
Well, I told you earlier before, but my first one was the Xbox, the 360. I played on Halo. So that was my original first online games, where one of my first friends online, Metro Chewy, the funniest name, some big black guy from Chicago. We played through the fucking campaign 3-4 times over, and it was awesome. We went from there to Final Fantasy and stuff like that, so it was pretty good.
Well, strangely enough, that was mine. As like Halo 3 was my first online gaming experience.
I was about to say Halo 3. I just remembered.
Yeah, and it was really weird because like I got my Xbox 360 back in 2009, so 9 years ago. But like I don't know what was going through my head. Everyone was playing online pretty much as soon as they got it. For some reason, I had it in my head that I couldn't play online because I didn't have a wireless adapter for it, like the big chunky thing you could plug into the back of it.
Oh yeah.
Completely forgetting about like the Ethernet cable, and so it took me like 2 years to actually get online. And the first game I played was Halo 3, and I'll always remember like because at the time I didn't have a long enough Ethernet cable to get from like the bottom, downstairs where I kept my router, to get all the way up the steps into my room to plug it in. So I remember like pretty much every day get home from school, because at that point I decided, right, because once you're hooked online, you can talk to your friends and everything. So just an eye-opening experience as a kid, and probably a lot less more now with it being so like common. But back then it wasn't so like, you had people who, couldn't play online and stuff like that because they didn't have internet. It wasn't such a big thing back then, as big as it is now. Like the world wasn't revolved 100% around it. And so I get home from school, like all my TV and everything would be set up downstairs on the dining room table. And that ended pretty quickly, with me developing a rage complex, and my parents trying to watch their TV soap dramas and stuff.
Interrupting Coronation Street, that's not going to be good for you.
That's freaking game over, that. Literally. You pardon the pun.
Halo 3 was rage-inducing, so...
Oh, yeah.
That's the same thing I felt right off the bat when it came to Sony. So one of the games I really wanted to kick off with was what is it? U.S. Navy SEALs, the SOCOM game. That was awesome at the start.
Oh, I played that game.
Oh yeah, so that one, their online for that was apparently like super intense and great. I saw one of it later on, I think around the PS3 era, and they're really big for like on nonstop PvP with the realistic military game style. And playing that on the PlayStation online was nearly fucking impossible because you needed to have that same kind of box method set up, and it was more complicated than like. I couldn't even imagine. It was more complicated than trying to get a nun out of church to go to a strip joint. It just wasn't happening anytime soon. So,
that would be an interesting sight to see, actually.
I hear it's easy in Amsterdam.
I wonder. Because I know they've got I think they've got a cathedral. I don't know.
Well, they have tons of them everywhere. Just got back from there this summer, remember?
Yeah, I know. I know they've got loads of churches and shit. Yeah. Well, that was a fun little topic. Fuck it, let's just go straight into it.
Yeah, hit him with the hard shit. let's Donald Trump.
Fucking Trump.
Austin, you're going to have to be our national expert on this one since this is really a specific topic for you.
Donald Trump? Okay, I mean, I'll start off. He's a real-life troll, and I like that.
Oh, he likes it. What do you like about it? Tell me what about this bridge troll with the fake hairdo that gets you going?
I don't fucking know. It's just, he entertains us. I mean, that might not be the best, quote-unquote, for a world leader, but for people that are not into politics, it gets them looking at it, at least.
It's looking at it in a very specific way, yes. Absolutely agreed.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I can see the positives, that he has done. But in layman's terms, the guy's a fucking idiot. In terms of politics itself, because the way it looks like he's trying to run the country as a business. A country's not a business. it's a country. Like, there are certain business aspects I suppose you could use, but like, I don't know. Like, the guy, like, he just. I think like I think we're also used to like the standard look or stereotype of a politician. Like, you see this guy Donald Trump coming, you're like, holy shit, the world's gonna end. Fuck. I mean, like it's really weird because considering, like, it's not even my president. It's one of the few things like I will remember. Like, I know exactly where I was when I found out Donald Trump had been elected the president of the United States, the free world, quote unquote, like one of those powerful nations, if next to like China and then Russia in the world. And I was like, holy shit. Like, and I was on my way to college and I had my friend next to me. And I'm like, Jack. He went, what? I said, we're fucked. He was like, bear in mind, I'm on a bus full of people, and I wasn't as subtle as that. I like, holy. I literally just went, it was more of a, holy shit, Jack. Jack, he went, what? I said, Donald Trump has become the president of the United States. And as soon as I said that, everyone on the bus turned around and looked at me like just horror, pure fear. Like, fuck. Like, shit.
Some people might say that kind of fear is awe-inspiring in a leader. I don't know if that was the same kind of fear that we just saw. I heard about.
Yeah, it was terrifying. And, I mean, fair play to the guy. He's said stuff that he's going to get done, and he's done it. Like, I'm going to meet with Kim Jong-un, the leader of North Korea. And he's done it. And stuff like that. He's not beat around the bush and not done it.
Well, in that regards to the North Korean leader, I feel like he put a lot of work into that one on his own. Like, to demonstrate that he had nuclear weapons off on his own, that they had the ability to use it, and then to follow suit by requesting talks and offering to stop their work, so that just to get rid of that kind of that isolation that's been going on, that's been like murdering his people, was a very smart move for a fresh leader.
And it happened so quickly. We're like, what the fuck? This shit. Okay, maybe this guy's not as bad. And then he came to the UK. He came to the UK this year, like about last week.
I heard about this briefly.
And I mean, look, I'm not the guy's biggest fan, all right. But at the end of the day, you got to accept democracy for what it is, right?
There was a shitload of protesters, right?
There were a bit more than I was reading an article, and there were about 100,000 people protesting Donald Trump on the streets of London. And like, they spent 50 grand on a balloon that was up in the air for like 5 minutes, and then got deflated. And I'm like, really?
That's dedication.
I mean, props to them, but it's like all these fucking like social justice warriors and shit like that. And he's a fascist, he's a Nazi, and he's like, no, he's not. Like, trust me, like, you'd know if we're a fucking Nazi. Or,
he's probably a racist. I give him that much, but I don't think he's a fascist. We can bash him for his looks, his performance, and the way he goes about it, but I don't think he's gone to the extremes that people are trying to paint him as.
Exactly.
I really don't think you could really call him a racist either. There's really, I mean, you could argue it, but I really haven't seen the straight up proof of it. And it doesn't help that, like, I don't want to say the left because it's not Democrats, it's the extreme left. They just point at people in America and they call you racist and fascist now. So it's kind of like a dead term over here to a lot of people.
Mm.
I give you a fair point on that.
It's like you call the guy racist. Okay, I know 10 this week that got accused of it.
See, I can stand by it in saying that he's definitely encouraged a lot more negativity towards colors, and I understand that's their way they're going, but that's the most you could argue for. I don't think he could go to the point of saying a Nazi, a neo-Nazi, or even a supporter of either of those two groups. His actions definitely aren't hindering their progression or their actions, but he's not going out there actively supporting or encouraging or giving them the ability to do so.
I mean, in the same terms, those groups don't really help themselves either. Like you see, I see it on the news quite a bit because on the world news and stuff, it's like there'll be all these peaceful protests, against like police brutality and all that stuff, and it's like, right, hang on, you're meant to be doing a peaceful protest. You've got a mask on, a balaclava around your face, and that, right? And then you start throwing shit at the police. It's like, really? That's like who the fuck then looks like the bad guy then? Do you know what I mean? And it's like, what are you doing? Like, if you got a point to prove it. Like, if you're gonna do a peace protest, do a peace protest. Don't fucking start fights. So I think in those terms, like, sometimes they don't help themselves. And it's like, you're really not, because it just literally, people are just like, well, in the most negative way and offensive way. Some people just turn around and it's like, well, what the fuck do you expect?
It's terrible over here.
That's agreed.
I have a story when you're done about it, like from my area.
Go on.
I love stories. Go.
Okay, so I don't even know the name, but a kid essentially was shot. Like, I had to have been a month ago in my area. I live near Pittsburgh. The other month or whatever, well, the protesters started blocking the roads and all that shit. Well, as a result, they ended up blocking an ambulance with another kid on there who was dying, and essentially, I believe it caused his death. So they're not helping their case. If anything, they're going against themselves by doing that kind of shit. If you're blocking ambulances and police cars, at the end of the day, sure, there's bad cops, but the majority are trying to save lives.
Mm-hmm. It's like we had a beginning of the year, we had a thing. Like obviously, gun crime over here, like it's very unheard of. It's very rare, and it's very rare stuff with the armed police, which is like our police with guns, basically. Like ever get a call into a situation where they end up having to discharge their firearm. But anyway, this drug dealer, he was driving around, and the police had been told he has a gun, So, in response, they've boxed him in, and they've basically surrounded the car, and there's a gun on the a pistol on the front seat, and the guy's reached for it, so he's got shot, right, dead. And I remember the like from the community, like they were all so angry about it. It's like, he was such a nice guy, he didn't deserve to. The guy was dealing heroin. Like, he had a gun on the front of his. How can you come out and call him a nice guy? Like, what the fuck?
Oh my god, there's so much like that over here. Like, there was a robber that got shot doing a home invasion, died, and then people were protesting outside the home invasion, the house where he got shot, about how he was unlawfully killed by the homeowner. He was defending his yeah, it's a real thing.
I love those arguments. It's almost like when people got away with suing people for spilling hot chocolate on themselves and saying, well, you didn't tell me it was hot, so I should be paid. It's like, what?
Like, what is going on in their heads? Like, there has to be some kind of, is there like a mental disease like affecting like 20% of the population at this point?
There's something. It's called greed and corruption. It's people who try to feed off the stupidity of the system and try to break it and use that to benefit for themselves. And they don't give a shit about how people look at them. For the rest of their lives, that person is definitely fucking a piece of shit for doing something like that. And the company being suffered for it is another just garbage piece.
I mean, it's also like down to like people who think they're entitled. This generation, like admittedly, this comes from mine and Austin's, and lower. It's like they think they're entitled to everything. It's like, you what? Like people who this really like So don't get me wrong, I have nothing against people who, transgender, gay, lesbian, part of the LGBTFQCWY68 more, whatever it is. Like, I really couldn't give two fucks. But what annoys me is not them. Like, they're perfectly normal. I have a friend, and he goes to university, and one of the people in there is a bloke, so a guy transitioning to become a woman. Anyway, he's called Sam. So it's a unisex name. The person has picked a unisex name, right? Fair enough, whatever. So he's gone, Sam, he's asked him a question and said, cheers, man. And then the guy's gone, no worries. But another group have gone, you can't call him that. What? You can't call him a man. She's a woman. He's like, wait, what? Hang on a minute, right? Number one, right, he's still a bloke. He's not transitioned yet. He's going through it, so he's still technically a male. And number two, he's not fucking set up, so why the fuck are you getting involved? Like, what? So that's what fucks me off. It's not the people who necessarily are part of, that group or associate with that group, or, whatever sexuality they want to be, but it's the people who, like, seem they need to protect that group now, like an endangered species. Like, we have to, and that fucks me off. It's like extreme. It's like almost like becoming the equivalent of extreme feminism, but that, and it's like, what? Like, and that's another thing that fucks me off is extreme feminism like, feminism in itself just should not be a thing.
It's not feminism anymore.
Yeah, it's become something else. Like, most women in the UK, I think it's something like 98% of women, when asked, are you a feminist? They've gone, no. And it's not to do with, like, because any normal person in their right mind would, like, want equal rights, but it's what that name brings with it now, and the stigma that they've now developed for themselves by being a feminist, and all this extreme feminist, like, no one's fuck all to do with it.
Oh, there's been so many large events where people are out there supporting from both sides, and they're being shooed away because they're of male gender. It's not like we don't want that same equality. I want my woman to be just as equal than me. The girl's smarter than me easily, has accomplished far more than I do. I don't want her having to suffer because the world doesn't want to see a woman achieve something. And I don't know any other person who would really want to have a life like that. A lot of the guys I work with are in the same boat. We don't want to see any of our women suffer just because the rest of the world thinks they can't do it, when clearly they've demonstrated and proven that. But you have to put your time in. If you don't put your time in, don't get upset and hide behind, oh, well, I'm a woman, so don't hurt me or don't let me do it. You're just being a feminist because you won't let me achieve it. No, we don't let you get to where you want to be in certain areas if you fucking suck at your job. Take the army, for instance. If you're shit at it, if you can't lift the round that's required, can't shoot the gun that you need to, and can't sleep outside in the field because it's cold, don't fucking join. It's not your fault because you're a woman. It's their fault because you're weak and you don't want to push yourself.
Yeah, I had an argument with a feminist, actually, a lesbian feminist. So you can't get more stereotypical than that. And,
You know how to pick them.
And basically, they're like, no, whatever job a man can do, a woman can do. And I went, no, they can't. They're like, yeah, they can. I said, no. I said, there's a reason. The SAS. So, like, for anyone who doesn't know, that's the Special Air Service. So it's like the Navy SEALs, for example. It's Britain's equivalent. And it's like, there is a reason they don't recruit women. It's not that they haven't. They've tried it, and it's because biologically they are weaker. Like, the stuff that they have to do in their training, and what it involves, and the physicality of it, and the mentality of it. Because they're fucking waterboarded and everything in the SA, like, in their training, they're waterboarded and everything, like, tortured, fucking the law. I think on average, like, 3 people a year die doing the training for it, and something stupid like that. And they're like, we tried it, and, like, they just couldn't hack it. Like, their bodies aren't built for it. They're just not built for it. And this woman was like, no, they could do it. I could do it. I went.
See,
and there's just some points you just want to be like, go away, please. Whoever brought you into existence, like, I mean, your logic is flawed. I've just come out with a substantial amount of evidence, and you're just saying, no, that's not true. Yeah, no, it is, because...
Sorry, all the evidence and all the studies you did, no, they don't mean any shit. I have a qualification in feminism. I know better.
Yeah.
These bare tits tell me what's right.
Exactly. And that infuriates me. But it then becomes an attack on men. It's like, you're a bloke, you should now be below us. It's like, whoa. Hang on a minute.
I mean, it's like man-hating. That's what feminism is now, essentially. It's like a man-hating movement.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's just fucking
Like,
stupid, really.
We're pretty much at equal rights if we're not at it now, which I believe we essentially are.
I mean, in some, it depends, because if you go down to the area, right? So I'm working class. If you go down to the working class, then yes, pay is equal. Everything. The thing is, when women go, we want equal pay, it's not to do with the working class, because I'm paid on an hourly rate, the same rate as my female colleagues, and that's the law throughout the country. We have a minimum wage. It's when it goes higher, so you get into like CAOs and everything like that, that's when it becomes a bit of a, like, women may get paid a bit less or something to do with that.
And, at that point, does it really matter, though, because they're making such an absorbent amount of money?
Apparently so.
It comes down to the principle at that point, and you can't argue that. You know what? I want to be respected too in my position. If I'm not getting paid as much because my penis is smaller than the other guys, like, I'm gonna be really fucking pissed about that. Look, I didn't decide how I was born. I didn't decide the portions that came with it. So you can sort that out.
I mean, the funniest, usually most of these stories, they'll come out in like actors and actresses, like, oh, this bloke got paid that amount, and the woman got paid like less. Like, oh.
When they're comparing Hollywood, it is night and day, because a lot of the times the actor or actress that can bring in the most money is going to get paid more. That's just the way it should work.
Exactly.
Like the new Jurassic World or whatever, they got mad because Chris Pratt made more than his female co-star. I can't even tell you her name, but I can tell you Chris Pratt's name.
See, that's the funny part. It's like demanding something that you don't have. You haven't earned the right to be paid that much due to the fact that you don't perform. You don't attract the name. I'm sorry, this one person means more. If it's Liam Neeson or a bumfuck Idaho chick, I'm sorry, Liam Neeson's going to get paid his 6 figures, and you might get 10. You might. And you can't be upset about that. He has so many fucking years in. It's experience. It's not because he has a penis. It's just not how it works.
But that's like where most of these stories seem to be coming from, is mostly the Hollywood. Which I find.
Well, Hollywood's like fucked all together with the number of them. Like, I'm going to leave the country if Trump won. How many left? And then it's all of them like trying to incite like a revolution.
Yeah.
Revolution.
Like, I think Katy Perry, I think, is literally trying to start a revolution.
I mean, this is a good segue, actually. Speaking of like revolution and your constitutional rights, Second Amendment. I think this is a good topic as well. The gun control stuff. Like, I know me and Austin, we have spoke about this in depth before, with one of the other guys who will be taking part, hopefully sometime soon, Justin. Like, we have talked in depth about gun control and
hours.
Yeah, and
it's not going to be Canada's.
Yeah, and it's not going to be Britain's, and it's most definitely not going to be Japan's.
If we're talking about America's, the biggest problem with America getting gun control is there is just too many at this point. We have more. I think there is a bigger gun to people ratio than there are people in the country.
Well, Australia didn't have an issue.
Oh, not a bit. A bunch of Australians had no problem with any of that.
Britain didn't have an issue with it. There were more guns than people. I think...
Were guns a way of life, though? Were those, like, if you go to the South and try to take somebody's gun, I'm not from the South. I know people from the South. They will most likely defend themselves.
See, the funny thing behind that is it doesn't make sense that what they're going for. They're not trying to take your guns away from you. They're trying to make sure it's just regulated and that people who will fucking shoot others don't get them. And I'm sorry, if you're a person who's going to go and shoot people because they just want to ensure that, well, you're living in their country under their government law and rights, that you can't go and shoot anybody you want with a fully automatic weapon because you have a fucking brain issue or you don't know what it means or the value of life doesn't matter to you, I think they're within their right to protect their people in that method.
I totally think there should be some kind of regulation on it. It just comes down to the, point of the matter that if somebody really wanted to get their hands on a gun, you really think they care if they're getting it legally or illegally? There's nothing stopping them from. I mean, okay, an AK-47 on the street, not likely, but like, if you're military trained and you go insane, it's not really going to matter what you're using.
I mean, that's the point. Regulation. Only in some states in America, some people on no-fly lists, so who are not allowed to leave the country, right, for whatever reason, can walk into a shop and legally buy a gun. Like
red flag hard.
And something I always highlight is like people aren't saying like get rid of your guns. We're saying regulate them. It's like, yes,
I mean, I don't think there's actually a person that deep down doesn't want the regulation to happen. The problem is America is barely one country. The Republican and Democratic Party is so split at this point. I mean, and with the Republicans in charge of everything, there's never going to be like meaningful regulation. And with the Democrats, it's not. I just don't see it happening the way our country is right now.
Well, I mean, I remember because I remember getting into a heated argument with Justin about this, and because at this point, like, the way it was like, because the Second Amendment is completely taken out of context anyway.
It's in case our government gets
tyrannical. Which is why you have the National Guard.
We are supposed to be. The independent civilian in that is technically supposed to be able to possess everything the government can, and even talking about regulating it, technically, if you look deep into it, is going against the Constitution. It was written in there. So if they try to amend it, they're breaking it.
They're not amending it. They're not even touching the second Constitution.
Acknowledge that we're in a whole new world now, right? This is a brand new time period. You don't need to feel that urge to defend yourself. You shouldn't feel that threatened within your own country. I don't walk outside and try to find, get my gun packed, have all this ammunition ready to go just in case when I'm going to head out there. And I went over to the U.S. to go visit family who's lived there for decades. And they carry a gun on them. I'm like, I don't understand. You shouldn't be that threatened in your own country. If that's the case, you need to better train your police forces. You need to look at better regulation of your legislation and your laws and ensure that that's being handled. You shouldn't need to be walking around and arming your civilians because you're just going to cause more panic and fear. And it's only going to take a little bit of time before someone's triggered and bam, a whole new problem.
The thing is, it's the right to bear arms as part of a regulated militia, right? Which is your National Guard, which is made up of civilians, right? That is your militia. So that is the Constitution right there, right? Nowhere in it, there's no saying if you look deep into it, that is the Second Amendment to bear arms. The right to bear arms as part of a regulated militia. That is it. Right. So there's no by saying, bringing in regulation to regulate the sales of guns and the protection of kids and stuff. That's going against the second. No, it's not, because we're not getting rid of your right to bear arms. We're just saying you have to pass this criteria, and by allowing psychopaths to go, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it bluntly. By allowing psychopaths to walk into a school, shoot up the place, kill kids, kill teachers and stuff. I would, if people don't look at that and think, right, maybe these are a bit outdated. The Queen, if she wanted to, has the power to to completely strip Parliament, order in a new Parliament, right?
Oh yeah, we've talked about that. Yeah, I know.
And if she wanted to, she could withdraw the military from every single base and plant them right outside fucking Parliament. Does she? No, because it would be stupid. It would be stupid to do that. And I can tell you those laws are a lot older than America as a country is itself.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, I don't even personally own a gun, but it's just the way it's phrased. A lot of it is taken that way. I mean, the first problem with our guns are the gun shows in America.
I mean, that's the issue. That's the biggest.
There are zero regulations into that. Like, you can essentially go in and just buy a gun.
That should be one of the things that should be regulated.
It's like whoop-de-freaking-do. If that dude shoots somebody up, I mean,
it should never be whoop-de-doo like that, though. That's the worry that exists. Like, when you can say it like that, that causes me a little panic. I cringe. Because that's people. That's lives.
Oh, that's lives, but it's like, I don't know. America kind of I wouldn't say we are getting used to it with how often we turn on the news and see a shooting in our own country.
So I mean, here's the severity of it, and how much this law is taken out of context. So Elon Musk, the owner of Tesla and all that,
the guy that made the flamethrower,
made 100,000 flamethrowers and sold them to people because he could, and because there's no law saying you can't buy a flamethrower. I mean.
When you put it like that, I mean, what's fucking next? People buying RPGs and using them to shoot up people?
That's my point. That is genuinely my point. And it's well, we gotta defend ourselves against the terrorists. Most of your terrorists now, we have it in Britain, they're
mentally ill.
Most of them are homegrown. Most of them don't, come in from most of them are homegrown within their own country. And a lot of them are turned in prison and stuff, and things like that. But I mean, I know
by the way, the prisons are privatized. Just to add quickly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that is the number one issue, that surrounds this whole issue, is because the fact is, it's not to do with the government, and it's not to do with anything, the public or anything that this law hasn't been changed. The reason the law hasn't been changed is because all the gun corporations keep sliding in those, backhanders.
It's more than a gun corporation. Honestly, they've been going over this for years and years and years. It's just to a point where it's starting to seem like they may never actually have a regulation on them. At least not with our current system.
dreading.
It's our two-party government which is doing this to us.
I am genuinely dreading the day I turn on the TV and I turn on the news. Fucking hell, something stupid has happened.
I mean, if that's us, there's something fucked up that happens in this country every day.
Something worse than a school shooting type thing.
I'll give you guys a hand. Just don't turn on Fox News. Maybe you'll get a good start to your day.
Yeah, exactly.
Just avoid Fox and CNN, because that's what I tend to do, because you're not going to get the right answers from either one of them.
It's ridiculous that that's a fact. The fact that it's been proven many times over that these people provide nothing but false information, false news, and they dramatize things, or they change other people's stories, that they ruin other people's lives on national television just to get something across that they're being paid to do, or just to ensure that they get their views. It doesn't matter if it's a wrong, incorrect, or morally wrong in itself. They still do it, and people just sit there and take it in like it's the word of Jesus himself. Like the Heavenly Father came down from taking his shit up on the rooftop and said, "Here, enjoy this. It's completely crap, but since I gave it to you, it's true."
That's the country in general, though. A lot of people, I mean, me personally, if you can't tell, I'm pretty Republican, but I have some Democratic views on things. But a lot of people, if they're Republican all the way. If they're Democratic all the way. a lot of people think it's like them versus us.
That's a problem. There's no them versus us. We're on the same team. We're part of the same group.
Yeah,
We all got to progress the same fucking way. The more we fight against each other, the less shit we're gonna get done.
They're either gonna need to learn how to deal with it sometime in the next, I would say, 50 years, or they're gonna end up starting another civil war between our own country.
Well, don't worry. The snow Mexicans up north, we're building a wall to help keep you guys out. And the Mexicans are pretty goddamn helpful. You put one up there on their end to stop that shit from pouring down.
And I'm just to be quite happy. I live across a great vast amount of water.
Hang on. I've met some people from America, some of the best people I've ever worked with. Some of them I've enjoyed times. I played a lot of games with people from the US, and some of them are like my best friends on those games. Fuck, man, the shit that happens there, and a good portion of the people we're shown give us the worst impression of you. And you have to take it in and understand that, you know what, this isn't the people all the time. This isn't what they're all like. It's just what the news wants us to see. And as long as we don't let that seep in, we can realize there are good people out there like you, Austin, and a few others that we've met before. There's still some asshats. Oh, fuck, are they ass? We can go on stories about asshats, but at least there are a few that aren't.
I mean, speaking of like asshats, like me and Austin, we were playing Star Wars: The Old Republic. We were doing heroics, and we were on Coruscant, and we were just observing general chat because general chat's always a laugh, you know. And this person was going on about Muslims and terrorists and stuff, and ranting and raving. I was like, funnily enough, I mean, Britain's not being invaded by. And they'd mentioned something about Muslims and terrorists invading Europe and all that. And I'm like, well, as someone from Britain, I can assure you we have not been invaded by terrorists. In the context you're saying, like, there is not Sharia law in, like, different cities and stuff. And they just turned around and went, oh, yeah? Well, how's Brexit going for you? And I'm like, what? What? I'm like, really? This dimwit like is literally the stereotype of an American. Like, and I hate to say it because I'm like you says, I'm good friends with a lot of Americans, and yeah, I mean, bar a couple, most of them are all pretty sound-minded, and you know, this dumb shit preaching absolute bollocks, and I mean, complete and utter nonsense. You know, to other people who, for all intents and purposes, might just be completely oblivious to it and hear about it and like, oh my god, what is going on over there? Make America great again, all that nonsense. It's like, what? Like, no, god damn it, dude. It hurts my head.
Don't spread information that's not necessary, especially on a game, man. We're here to chill. We're here to enjoy ourselves. Last thing I want to do is get into my game, get set up. I'm about to do some role play, and in the background on Guild Chat, all I can see is, oh man, like I feel like this game was not meant for women because of the way they designed the characters. Not like they're always so roundish. It's like, what? No, fucking drop that. I don't want to hear about your politics. I don't want to hear about your political opinion. I don't want to hear about your personal feelings towards the way they designed the game. We all know World of Warcraft made their tits bounce in plated armor. We don't care. We're over. It was fan service from the start. It'll be fan service to the end. You are not going to change it by doing a protest in the fucking game. Please shut up. The world's not going to change our fucking opinion. Just let us play. We paid our money for it. We put a lot of time into it. We like to do our raids, our grinds, or whatever the fuck we're doing in confidence and peace.
I mean, to be quite fair, like we were laughing. Like, we were laughing so much. I was like, what? Like, I wasn't offended. I was just like, this is so bad. It's funny, and it was literally, it was like watching Fox News. I'm not gonna lie, and
I don't want to say there's a lot of people like that in America, but not a lot. But people get their ideas. There's more than I'd like.
Yeah, there's more people than you'd like to think about who have those opinions because they watch the wrong shit and they're given the wrong bollocks, and they don't really pay attention to actually what is going on in the world. Like,
yeah.
I think tuned in for the first time for the update, and what do we see? World's going to an end. Okay, guess I'll just buy that rock.
I mean, I think a lot of Americans actually would be very surprised to watch the news from another country outside their own country and realize, holy shit, well, this wasn't told to me.
I won't even watch the
don't
news
know.
here. Like, in terms of my politics, I try to watch neutral people, or I'll even go to people like Ben Shapiro. He's still Republican, but he's open-minded.
You're gonna get
Like,
backlash tomorrow. You're gonna get like hate mail and everything that you just after what you just said. Just wait
I
for
did-
it. They're gonna be
I
like,
did-
this motherfucker, what was his name? Austin shit. I'm gonna track this motherfucker down this goddamn and all his friends too, and send him messages. You un-American swine! How dare you have an opinion different than the rest of the world?
Hey, I didn't fucking say that I watched Yiannopoulos.
I think I've seen a few of his things pop up on Facebook, and I've never laughed so hard in my life. It's funny because half of it's fucking true when he attacks people. Like when they come at him with bullshit, and he's like, "Hold on, let's identify this for a quick second," and he just destroys them, and they have nothing to say.
I mean, I watch him, but I don't watch him for my facts like I do with Shapiro.
No, he's there for laughs. I don't know. He has an interesting opinion. Some things I agree with, some things I don't. But it's not somewhere I'm going to go to get my facts. If I want to get facts, I'm sorry, we got to look it up ourselves. Like news can provide you whatever. It gives me an insight to look at. And then guess what? Google's my best friend. And if they fuck that up, well, I guess I'm getting fed the wrong shit forever. Because Google is what I use to get all my information. I go and look it up and check all my sources, get multiple sources, never stick with one. Try to see it from all different points and see where they have their sources. Where did they get their factual information?
I'm quite interested, actually, to know what's going on with net neutrality, because I haven't heard much. Like, I remember...
It was months ago, and I haven't heard anything since. Like, it got passed, from what I heard, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. I remember the whole like YouTube raw and everything like that on it, but it got passed and then that's it. We didn't hear anything about it. Like,
yeah, I haven't heard anything. It's been what, like 3 months at least.
So get me caught up on this one because this is a topic I'm not very familiar with.
Yeah, okay, and you'll better explain this one than I will be.
So, to my best knowledge, bear in mind, like, really, Austin, like, fucking, it's your country, and you know, oh my day.
Okay, so essentially, they're gonna like slow down internet, but they're gonna upcharge you based on what you use. Is the very broad and basic. Like, I haven't researched this a lot, but like, say you're using Facebook a lot, they're gonna charge you a Facebook fee.
Yeah, they're gonna basically, instead of like the internet being the internet and you being able to, you pay the company for different speeds of internet, right? And then, you can just then access everything, right? Instead, the way it was, I heard it explained, was basically, you're going to keep that same internet, right? They're going to slow it right down so you can keep paying for that internet. That's perfectly fine. They're going to slow it right down to a point where I expect you can barely watch Netflix, right? Or YouTube, or you can pay a premium fee for faster internet, in which case, you can then watch everything you wanted to watch in the first place. So they're removing that freedom to watch whatever you want. You have to then pay more to actually use the internet properly. Like, and that, I was I can't remember what I was talking to somebody, but I was saying that's the beautiful, like, because like to my knowledge, there's only like 3 main like cable or internet providers in the US, like 3 big ones, like the huge companies.
It's like Comcast, Verizon, which Josh works for. I don't even know if his is considered one of the main ones though. I know Verizon,
Yes,
Comcast, based where I live.
I do recognize those 2 names.
I'm just taking this all in because this is a little hard to understand. So they're gonna have you pay for the same amount of internet that you just can't use. You just have it, but you can't touch it because it won't fucking do anything except let you fucking Google shit.
They're holding your internet hostage until you pay more, essentially.
Yeah,
they can suck my left testicle.
And it somehow passed. I'm still confused how that passed.
That is horse shit. Why? What the fuck?
And the worst part about it is, like, congressmen, like people in the Senate and everything, they were signing this huge petition.
Now that I think, I think they signed something to like fight it, and it passed or something, and that's in the works now.
I have no idea
about it. I thought I heard. I mean, I haven't really researched this, but now that I'm thinking, I think there was something passed like this by like a senator or something. Brought it up.
Right.
Start looking at one. That's fucking weird.
Right. Wow. Okay. So here we go. June the 11th. June the 11th. Net neutrality dies. So yeah, like unlike
June 11th.
Mm-hmm. The federal. So I'm reading this off a website called The Verge. They did an article on it, and it basically reads: the Federal Communication Commission's rules protecting consumers from the discriminatory behaviour by ISPs are officially scheduled to come off the books on the June the 11th. The final portion of the order revoking the rules is scheduled to be published in the Federal Register tomorrow, which will have been, I don't know what, because I don't know when this was posted, but will go into effect 8 days later. The FCC spokesman confirmed that there will be no net neutrality rules as of June the 11th. So yeah, unfortunately, you know, the next like thing is apparently Congress. So while there have been attempts, some last-minute attempts to block the repeal of net neutrality, chances are exceedingly slim that they'll make it through. Ultimately, the legislature and executive branch are controlled by the Republicans, who largely dislike the rules and want ISPs to be able to do what they want with internet traffic. So yeah, by the sounds of it, like, I'm sorry, net neutrality has died in America and will die. From what I've read, I mean, if there are people listening to this and they know more, please stick it in the comments, because honestly, my knowledge on this is very brief. But like, this is one thing that would never happen in like Britain, or I can only say like assume Canada as well, because we have so many internet providers, like as a whole. Just wouldn't happen because they're constantly in competition with each other. Constantly.
We'll send some our way so we can get rid of this.
Fuck, you're gonna see people coming up to Canada a lot sooner. We're already hearing about a bunch of people starting to make their way up and start migrating over to us.
I don't know. Maybe we can just do like a log, like, you know, internet transfer from like Yokun's house to mine.
I'll tell you what we'll do is, here's how it will work. We'll run a line to you, you know, like the oil line that everybody protests, because it's going to be so terrible to have an oil line built under the fucking earth while you're protesting and destroying the natural beauty of it.
I haven't heard of that protest in a long time.
Oh my god, it's still funny. There's so many memes. It's meme worthy, 100%.
And then there's celebrities that are going up there like every once in a while, and you know, they're just getting like pretty much arrested or something, and they're making it like I'm all innocent. I mean,
it's like you're crying every time.
If you go up to the protest and like you do something, I mean, you're kind of asking to get arrested if you're fucking with them.
It's straight up. If you go and protest and you're doing it in an illegal manner, expect to be charged legally for illegal behavior. Don't worry, your tits will likely not get you too far out of that one. But it's always fun to watch you try.
And I'm the one that's going to get hate mail tomorrow?
Oh, absolutely. I live in Canada. All I have to do is sit down and take it in. We all are passive-aggressive. We don't attack people outright.
Oh, yeah, they know I'm American. I'm fucked.
I'm sure there'll be comments in the section about, yo, this Phoenix guy's a douchebag. Don't ever talk to him again. He doesn't know shit. I can't bet money. I'm willing to bet money to be in there. This guy just doesn't like women. Well, I tell you right now, I really do love women. I got a fine fucking affection for them.
We're all
just don't like stupid women.
Tomorrow.
Oh my god. Right, so like, I'm just reading through the news website, and and yeah, this topic just like caught my eye, and the heading is Supergirl. So the DC
Yeah,
TV
the
series
the
Supergirl.
Arrowverse shows Supergirl. Yeah. Oh yeah, the transgender hero.
Yeah, they're to feature transgender superheroes. So I'm quite curious.
Okay, I don't really care if people are transgender, but I don't agree with shoving it down people's throats for no reason. And
Yeah,
every time a movie or something tries to make somebody transgender, it is just for the sake of them being transgender. They have no other character traits other than they are the transgender person of the show.
It's like having Shaft so that black people can have a hero. He doesn't have any special powers. He's just black.
And
I mean,
honestly, it's hurting them more than it's helping them.
Admittedly, the actual actor herself is transgender, so I mean that may help it a bit, I suppose, because they're not actually forcing an actor. By the way, you're playing a transgender character. It's actually getting someone who is transgender in to
That's a
do it.
start, but it also comes down to like they state they're transgender, like okay, at some point, but don't make it a main thing of the character. Like actually make them a living person, not just the transgender person.
Here comes transgender lady to the rescue, saving all LGBTQ communities with rights. I can just see her with like a rainbow shit. What's your superpower? Love and affection for everybody.
I mean, Supergirl is one of the softened.
It's
TV
the more left leaning TV show of the Arrowverse.
It's more child friendly. I will say that. And one of my biggest things over, I mean, I don't know what it's like over in America or Canada, but over here, they're starting to teach kids just about sex in general and everything about that, like at such a young. I mean, I'm talking like 5 years old, and I'm like,
Wait,
why?
over where? Over where you're at?
Yeah,
In the UK. No,
I don't know.
that's funny you mentioned that. Actually, because when I was there, I just visited this summer. I was only there for about 3 days. While I was there, I'm sure, I'm more than a positive that I came across girls from the ages anywhere from, let's say, 12 to 16, dressed more scantily than I've ever seen a Canadian woman from 20 to 25, unless they were at the club. And this was them going to their school, and this was them coming from their schools, going to other locations, and it boggled me.
Yep.
That's like how kids dress now. Like we never
Full
dressed
makeup.
like that when we were kids. Yeah, like they dress like they're like in their 20s. Like it's weird.
But they're going down talking about sex and like futures and what they're gonna do, and I'm like, you guys are kids. What happened to doing what things kids do? Like, don't be so bitter yet. You have so many years to be bitter. Don't get there yet, really.
I mean, and this is one of the main reasons over here. Like there's a lot of, like especially with the younger kids now. There's a lot more mental health issues, like such as depression and stuff coming out. I was talking to my mum about it, and we were having a general debate about it. Not even a debate, just a discussion. And she turns to me, she's like, "Well, what do I think?" And no, I turned to her even, and she was like, "Well, when she were a kid, their form of expression was how they dressed, the music they listened to, because there were so many different variants through the 80s, the 70s, and the 80s, and even the 90s." But nowadays, everyone wants to be the same. There's only really one main thing, pop group or whatever it is, and social media definitely plays a part on it, and everything like that. Everyone wants to be the same, dress the same, be older. They want to grow. As soon as they hit fucking high school, that's it. They want to be an adult. They want to be an adult there and then. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Why?
You're talking about like 12-year-olds, right?
Yeah, 12, 13-year-olds just dressing like 18-year-olds. It's ridiculous.
Because now it's like once you're like a lot of like the 16 to 20-year-old pluses of our generation, they like want to be the special person. That there's something unique about them.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, but that's the issue. Like, there isn't anything unique about them. Like, and here's the worst part: the people who do dress unique and do want to express themselves that way, they're the ones who get bullied for it. And it's like, wait, what? How the fuck does that work? Like, You guys want to be playing gens, so you're going to pick on someone. I mean, that's all. To be fair, that's how it's always been. You know, you show any sort of difference, you get bullied. But like nowadays, it's crackers. Like the way people dress, and it's scary. Like sometimes I think, oh, this girl's been, there'll be an abduction, or a child will go missing, or something like that. And this is going to sound dark. I don't mean it to. But you've got kids dressing, so much older than, and they'll go off, and I know people whose kids I've seen in clubs at the age of 16, and I've been like, what the fuck are you doing here? Turn your ass around and get the fuck out. Get in a taxi and go, like, because of how they dress. And it's like, and I'm not, they look older. Like, it's because of how they're dressing and how they want to be. It's like, I want to grow up. Because I'm telling you now, if I could choose to be fucking 12 again, I fucking would be playing TIG and that. And playing, just playing schoolground games. It's fucking awesome.
Like, we were actually kids when we were kids. Like, these kids have no childhood.
Yeah, you guys were the last generation. We kind of phased it. We saw it coming, and then all of a sudden, you guys finished up, and now we're done. There's no more time for that. Like, what do I have to look forward to now when I have my children? This is the kind of shit I have to be prepared for, things that I should never, ever need to be prepared for as a parent. I would never want to expect that. And with that in my future, this worries me. I was like, I want to take my kids traveling, and I have to now consider like where we go and what we do and at what age they go there, so that they can be prepared for what kind of nonsense exists out in this world.
It's and it is a shame rather, but hey ho. I mean, the cruel reality is there's not really much that can be done about it. Like, I think everyone really became very complacent with how everything was changing and stuff like that, and it's now at a point now where holy shit. I mean, there is definitely in the UK, like male suicide is the biggest killer of males in the UK. It kills more than cancer, and and these aren't like old men. I'm talking these are like young people, couple my age, mine and Austin age and shit like that. And it's like you think, what the fuck? Like you're at that age and you want and you think, well, why? What seriously could be going so wrong at that age? Well, because you can't bankrupt. You can't have like kids and shit like that. Well, what the fuck's going on? You know what I mean? It's mind-boggling. It's all fucking, I don't know, just crackers, really.
I mean, I don't understand suicide. I probably won't, but I think a lot of it is to do with like our generation in general. Is like it's a lot of like spinning to nowhere for the most part.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you've got all this, you've got the you've got the LGBTQSYZ321, all that jazz. You've got all that.
All the lampshades and telephone poles.
You've got all the people who sexually identify as Apache helicopters, and so there are like two main groups. You either fit
in with what's going on.
Yeah, you either fit into that, or you fit into being popular and shit. And it's the people who get stuck in the middle who are like, well, I'm neither. Like, where do I go? Because neither group wants anything to do with them. And they say, well, where do I go? So they find a little nicheness, and then they find, they're on their own. There's so much change, and there's so much fucking social justice and shit like that going on nowadays.
And that is another problem in America. Like,
that's a problem, like in the Western world in general. I would say it's not just America.
The social justice warriors. If you go to college and you you just keep your head down and you get your degree, because their college campuses are terrible for that. They will. It's terrible. Like, Milo Yiannopoulos, not the most likable guy, but they literally shut down a talk at Berkeley because his opinions upset them.
Yeah. I mean, just to really change the subject differently, and we've been on it a bit of a while. Again, I'm looking through, the news websites, just seeing what's going on, and I've just discovered that it's finally happened in the UK. Video streaming services like Netflix and Amazon Prime and shit like that now actually have more subscribers than cable TV.
Oh yeah, cable TV doesn't have long left.
Well, why subscribe to something that only gives you what you want every so often? I understand, you know what, TV used to be the thing. Let's sit down, let's watch a few movies or a few shows, whatever's coming up tonight. But now I can get what I want on demand anytime during the day, and I don't need to wait or make sure I'm here at this hour for that or this. Why bother? The most they got is sports.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I love Netflix, and I love the ability to be able to binge watch something and not have to wait that. Like, I also like I remember as a kid that excitement. Oh my god, there's a new episode of Doctor Who on this Saturday. That was fucking Saturday night television. Like, and being part of a family, I suppose. I mean, and then just you'd all gather around the TV, you watch the TV, be like, woo, and you go to bed. It's all coming back to this freaking society of where everything's available, like at the touch of a button, and all that.
Land poofed. Oh, there he is. He couldn't handle it. He had an aneurysm quickly. His internet's starting to slow down already.
Net neutrality hits Austin.
The net neutrality, it got me.
It got me good.
I didn't pay the Discord fee.
Agree though. We definitely hit some heavy topics already. Let's what else we got on here other than the snow Mexican problem? Because I feel like we're never gonna stop being snowy. Can't help it. Sorry.
I mean,
are we saving the religion one for another time?
Oh,
I would advise. We'll be here like Jesus Christ. We've been on for about an hour now, and like that'd take me into next week.
So, hold on. I want to know first off. So we all watched a lot of TV shows because TV was a thing when we were kids. What happened to that? What happened to like the Olsen twins? Where did they go? Where did like Zac Efron? Oh, we know where Zac Efron went. He went and did steroids and became big, but he's doing fine.
I was about to say he still does movies. I think a lot of like these child actors we're talking about, they like got their money and got out.
Well, I don't know. Like, I've started to like notice a little bit of a resurgence in the child actors. Obviously, they went away. They did like if you look at oh shit, what were the name?
It's probably a good name for him. I like it. Call him shit from now on.
Hang on. So yeah, Dylan and Cole Sprouse.
Cole Sprouse is on Riverdale.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when did that happen? I was blown away by that.
Exactly, and it's like they all went away.
But the other one kind of acts. They went and got a college degree or something first.
Yeah,
and then
they were smart. Like, I'll give credit where it's due. Like, they were really smart. So, like, they'd been child acting, like, because they were in Friends. They took it in turns on Friends.
They were on Full House.
And
Zack and Cody is their like main series.
They were in oh God, I'm just trying. They're in. Yeah, obviously, Zack and Cody was like their.
That's what made them a lot of their money.
Yeah, and that, that's what got them noticed, and that. They're in films. I know they did a couple of Disney films and everything like that.
Yeah, but now you mention it, there's a lot of them that are gone. Like a lot of Disney stars from like when we were growing up are gone. Like that's so Raven. I think Raven Simone's her name. She's like,
actually,
does she do like what does she do now?
she's actually gone. They've actually rebooted That's So Raven. It's not called That's So Raven now. It's called something else. But they rebooted that, and the irony being, she's the actual actress. She's gay, and
Oh yeah, I knew that much.
yeah, but like they've started a new thing where she's like a single mum and everything like that, and all that jazz, and yeah.
I gotta take a look at something here quickly because I'm pretty sure I'm not 100, but I'm pretty sure like I was watching a video back when I was a kid, and you have to just bear with me because his fucking name is retarded. But his name is Pleasure P. All right, and it's an R&B singer. So I'm pretty sure in the music video that is Raven Simone. Now, I'm gonna send you guys a link because I need you to verify because I could be fucked up. But I've thought for the longest time that was her, and I was like, "Is this what her future's turned into? Being an extra in some like greasy R&B singers video from now on?" Because she's just like leaning around on her fucking on her bed or whatever with her panties out and everything. I was like, "This is insane."
I mean, another one, like, look at Ashley Tisdale.
Oh yeah, she did Suit Live, High School Musical.
I
think doesn't she like have a kid or something now?
I don't know, maybe.
I could be thinking of somebody else, but I feel like she had a kid or something.
She's appeared in Family Guy, the Cleveland show.
Oh yeah, she was in Phineas and Ferb.
She was in Sons of Anarchy. Pretty sure she played a prostitute.
That's lovely.
Yeah, she portrayed an escort in Sons of Anarchy.
Well, you just made me think of something. Have you guys seen the new Teen Titans trailer?
I haven't actually, no, but it is something I think I want to look at. Let's have a look. Let's go to YouTube and have a look at the Teen Titans trailer. And
like people are like divided on it.
So I'm really like breathing heavily into my mic. Right, let's have a look. Let's see how well this goes.
I don't know. I just feel like a lot of the character designs just seem off.
Yeah, a lot of characters to see who might be off.
The only one that looks like right to me is Robin.
Dick Grayson. Yeah.
I mean, technically Nightwing, but...
Well, no, his actual name is Dick Grayson.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
You know.
You want to know a fun fact quickly? So, Steve Urkel from Family Matters, he was played by a guy named Jaleel Ahmed White. Now, that was the main guy who played that guy. He was only meant to be like a one-time appearance, but everybody loved him so much that they kept him on. Well, guess what? That guy, Urkel, our lovable Urkel, was actually the voice for Sonic the Hedgehog in Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Sat AM, and Sonic Underground. And is now produced by, and all of which were now produced by the DIC Entertainment. So he's done more than what we've imagined from just that short period of time. I don't know what he does now. I'm trying to find out what he does currently because I have no fucking clue. But he apparently did it. He went to college. He graduated, did his whole debacle. He probably didn't have to do shit after all those series. He had the money to just fucking retire. Looking pretty good at it while he's doing.
In my head, I just have like Sonic Underground stuck in my head.
Oh, here he is. He started. What is it? He starred in the UPN series Grown Up when he got into After Family Matter Ends from 1999 to 2000s. He later attended UCLA, where he graduated with a degree in film and television in 2001. So he
Awesome.
continued his acting career with roles in Dreamgirls, 2006. So that had Jamie Foxx in it and Eddie Murphy and Beyonce. So those big names, he was part of that. And stints on
Cool.
Boston Legal, House, and Psych. So a little small series of those. Even came into Dancing with the Stars in season 14.
Oh wait, that just remind you guys. You guys know Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like the kid that played Malcolm at
Mhm.
some point. Apparently, he had. I don't know. He has something happen. Like he can't remember any of his like early acting days. Like he can't remember nothing from like filming Malcolm in the Middle.
Holy shit. That must be horrible.
I saw. I mean, it was a Facebook post, so it's not like 100% accurate, but like people were commenting and stuff on it, so it seemed legit.
Oh, Frankie Muniz? That was the main character.
Yeah, Malcolm. Yeah, apparently he has something where he can't remember his like time on there at all.
Yeah, fuck that. Who cares about him? What happened? Like Bryan Cranston, Breaking Bad. Like this guy became a badass overnight.
I've never watched Breaking Bad.
He does a amazing performance playing through it. I've
I've
never been
heard
blown
how
away
good
before.
it is. I've heard how good it is. I just like have never gone to it.
I mean, so like, I just finished watching the Titans trailer, and I already know what people will be kicking off about, like,
It's the fuck Batman thing that's actually the thing right now.
yeah. I can understand why. You know, Batman set up the team. Like, it was basically Batman who set up the Teen Titans. You know, realized that Robin was, you know, growing up a bit, and he needed his own space and shit. He needed to get out of his like Batman shadow.
I
So
mean,
like,
I'm a giant comic book nerd, so he's not Nightwing yet, so I can't really judge this. But Dick Grayson at some point does become Batman at a point in time.
well, it all depends what comic book series they're going down.
And it also depends. Yeah, I don't. They're probably going along the Teen Titans route, so he won't become Nightwing for a long ass time.
Yeah. But yeah,
But if you think about it, Batman's done some pretty fucked up things. He's pretty much like taken 3 street kids and turned them into like nearly murderers.
yeah. The
Well,
guy's
that's not
got
even the extent of it, man. I'm trying to find it right now for you guys, but there was a situation. Yeah, there it is, where Batman apparently impregnated his girlfriend. So he impregnated Dick Grayson's girlfriend, if I'm following this correctly. But here we go. For years, fans of the Batman TV series wondered why Dick Grayson was completely AWOL from the series. A year later, we found or finally learned the truth. Batman Beyond 2.0 reveals that Bruce Wayne and his ward grew distant because of a betrayal, where gazing upon his old Robin costume, Dick remembered Bruce is a manipulative liar whose greatest strength is convincing himself that he's being selfless. He tells Terry McGinnis the truth. Bruce Wayne once slept with his kind of current girlfriend, Barbara Gordon. Yes, Batgirl. The Batman started a torrid affair while Robin was out of town. And apparently, this led to a baby.
Whoa.
Well, no,
So
actually,
with Batgirl
actually
slash
happened.
Oracle, that's fucked.
Yeah.
There is actually a story arc. I think it's
Probably.
No, there's a film. I can't remember which animated film it is, but there is a film where Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, you know, and Batman get it
I
on.
know
There's a scene to it.
I know the title of this podcast. Barbara Gordon was raped.
Wow. You know.
Fuck.
So
That's all that matters here. Barbara Gordon had a baby that was Batman's, and it wasn't the other fucking Robin. So many Robins.
I mean, I think, you know, I don't know what I'm going to say then, but Shazam. Who has seen the Shazam trailer?
Not yet, no.
I kind of avoid the DC movie trailers. I just don't have high hopes for any of them, so I don't follow them.
I would strongly recommend looking at Shazam because I like
Shazam as a character.
Seriously, like it looks completely different to any of the other DC films. Like, seriously.
Remember when they used to call him Mr. Marvel?
Mm.
Then that didn't happen anymore.
Like, he's like the actual Shazam superhero is played by Zachary Levi, I don't know if you guys watched a TV series called Chuck. He was in
No, I
that.
haven't.
He was in Tangled. He played the prince in Tangled. Well, not the prince, but like the male lead in Tangled.
See, I watched part of the Aquaman trailer by accident, and I kind of have high hopes for it, just because Jason Momoa was good in Game of Thrones. So unless they give him like the shittiest script in the world, he should be able to pull it off.
Yeah. Looks good. I mean, potentially we could be seeing the turnaround of the DC universe. Potentially.
They're not going to catch up to Marvel anytime soon. I'm sorry,
I mean,
but after Infinity War, they have a long road ahead of them.
Not necessarily. I mean, this is the issue. Everyone's like, "Oh, they got to catch up to Marvel." No, they have to focus on fucking starting their own shit out.
Well, they sped through it too fast. They should not have done a Justice League movie as fast as they did a Justice League movie.
Oh yeah.
No, aren't they in the middle of trying to put out the first Aquaman movie? Yet he made an appearance in the Justice League.
Yep.
Doesn't he have his own fucking storyline that they just like, nah, fuck you?
Like I think his Aquaman movie is his origin story or something. I think that's how they're gonna play it. So is it a prequel to the Justice League movie?
Not a clue.
I don't keep up with their movies because like Deadpool said, they're way too dark.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking Deadpool. That's the highlight. We should just do Deadpool from now on. His movies need to exist. Ryan Reynolds, a fucking Canadian star. No, fuck, what is his face? Justin Biebs. Get the Biebs somewhere else. We're adopting Ryan Reynolds as our main star of Canada. No one else is more important.
I mean, isn't Biebs pretty much like a Citizens of America at this point?
I hope to God so. He needs to be your problem by now with the way he's fucking been spending it.
Doesn't he live in LA? So he probably is.
You'd be surprised how many stars live there and aren't from Canada or aren't American citizens. Well, didn't you actually hold on? Arnold Schwarzenegger came from where? And he's running what?
He came from Australia, and he is the governor of Cali.
Hang on. He came from Austria, not Australia.
He said Austria.
He said I thought he said Australia.
I think
close,
I
but
said
no.
Australia. I probably said Australia.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, but yeah, you can run for government office. You just got to become a citizen. You just can't become a president if you're not born here. And I think there's a few other things.
I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow we go in there and we see it and he's going to be president. Fuck, they put in an orange. They might as well put in a fucking tank. Why not?
I mean, Trump, I don't think Trump ever actually thought he could win.
He ran for fun and won. That must have been quite the kick in the nuts.
I think he actually did. Like me and Nathan were talking about this yesterday. We did about how we do not think he was actually trying to win, but then like people started getting behind him more and more, and like during the 2016 like whatever they call that shit where the Republicans and Democrats are trying to pick their candidate. You know how many Republicans there were? I swear there was like 8 of those motherfuckers, maybe more.
So what we're telling me is that he won by fluke. And
Yes.
even he was fucking surprised. That's probably he's sitting there looking around as the votes come in and he's like, he's won, and he just looks back to his buddy. He's like, fucking told you to hold my beer. I could do it. Fuck.
He'd be like, right, pay up.
That's how I picture his presidency starting up. You can't be president. Hold my beer. Fucking 6 months later.
How much you putting on it?
I'm interested to see the next one if Hillary's gonna run or not.
Well, apparently, I thought they're already running Hillary. Like, I thought they'd already made the decision. Right, we're going to run Hillary. Like, if they do, more for because Trump's going to win again.
Like, I don't think Bernie's gonna try to run again because isn't he like in his 90s at that point? He's old.
Well, I'm kind of surprised at how many people have been fired from office or left since he's been in power. I don't think I've ever heard of that before in my life. That's the first time that's ever come up.
Has been a lot. Okay, what was I can't remember this guy's name. The first press, Sean Spicer, the original press secretary before Amanda Huckabee Sanders. Oh my god, his shit was like hilarious, and it wasn't even purposeful. Like he would just be oblivious to shit for whatever reason. I don't know. It was very entertaining.
It's kind of worrying though at the same time. Like,
Yeah, I mean, Amanda Huckabee Sanders is a lot better at the job. Like, she doesn't put up with the press. She's kind of intimidating.
I think at this point you guys need to start taking some leadership from the Europe side of things. They have some fantastic leaders after touring the area. They also have some shitty ones, Prague being one of the worst in the world, but they have some good ones here and there.
Hey, I think I just got. Didn't we already talk about how fucked our government is right now because of our party system?
I think we could talk about how fucked your government is for the entire time and always have a new topic to talk about.
There are many aspects as to why it's bad, but it could be worse.
could it?
Could it? Could it?
We're not in a civil war right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I turn on the news and I'm thinking, I hope today could be the day.
If we get into a civil war, I'm just hunkering down and like letting them fight it out.
That's going to be what you have to do at this point because that's how that world's going to work out.
So, like, just on a very, very quick, quick side note. So, the US Open golf. Obviously, I like for people who don't know who are watching this or listening to this even. I work at a bookmakers, so I take bets for a living. It's steal people's money, basically. There was the guy who won at the beginning of the tournament was 400 to 1 to win. Like, and
So
I was
people that betted on that probably.
No, that's the thing you don't like because that's never gonna happen. Those are just, like high odds. Like that one, the odds were like that's not gonna happen. I just won't because the guy's never won a major tournament before. So like we're like nah, that won't win. And then he went and won it. It's like like so if someone put 10 quid on it, £10, that means they've come out with $4,000. I don't know. It hurts my head. Proper hurts my head. Like my mate, he put 50p on it, which is like 50 cents, and so he's come out with 200 quid for like fuck all really. It's like you fucker, you jammy bastard. Jammy, like what?
That's my favorite insult that you have. You jammy bastard. It's fucking. I love it. British insults they get me.
I get insulted by Nathan Daly with British words, and it just feels so good.
I got a boss that I work for, and the favorite thing he likes to do when he talks to us, and he likes to bring it up, and he's British, and he'll be like, "Listen, you fucking creatures, don't spit everywhere." I'm like, it was literally like this. It's just fucking gone. We're done. We're already laughing halfway through. Meanwhile, he's giving a shit, absolutely giving a shit. But none of us can take it serious because we're already broken out into tears of laughter. It's like we're just being monsters, or they're flicking their butts all over the place, or they're spitting on the floor, and it's like it's like shit you just didn't do. But they're doing it, and they're going to get yelled at. But it's just too funny to take serious. At this point, I feel like people are just letting it happen so they can hear them get jacked up again.
Like, one of my favourites is get your head. So if someone's being lazy, especially at work, I'll turn around and it's like, right, get your head out your ass and fucking crack on with it, dipshit.
Faves. Oh, I love them. I love them all.
No, that's right. Nathan, you lectured me earlier about not yelling at somebody properly for arriving late.
Well, you fucking failure. You should yell at them all. If they come late, fuck them. It means your time's not worth it to them. They don't care.
I overheard him and he was like, and where have you been? Oh, no, you didn't even say that. You're like,